Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of SCAA News. I am Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. Before I get this one started, I want to give a big thanks to the viewers that helped me get a new camera. Just to give you an idea, I was shooting with a web camera, which my cat ate. Cat's sleeping over there. He's cute. Maybe I'll take a picture of him for you. But he ate through the actual cable. And one of the benefits of the webcam was that I could connect directly to my computer and it took a steady image, although not that great. Then I moved to this. This is a Canon S100. It's a couple of years old. It shoots 1080p at like 24p. I guess that's 24 frames per second. By the time it's condensed and crunched, you got the images that you were getting. The big failing part of this is it only took 16 minutes at a time, which meant I had to continuously stop and start, stop and start, stop and start the camera, which meant taking a lot longer and having many more clips to put together in my videos. But thanks to y'all, and there were about 8 or 9 people out of the 1,000 that viewed the last episode, so that's wonderful, that contributed, and I thanked you all personally, and I really appreciate it. And they were able to help me purchase this. And this is a Canon Vixia HF R40. There were 3 models in the Vixia line. There's the, I should say the HF-R line, the R400, R40, and R42. There was nothing in it because I'm shooting with it. The R400 was a great camera by itself. One of the features that the R40 added to it was the ability to stream directly to my iPad. And also, it comes with 8 gigs of internal memory. So I was able to get a camera that could encode 2 ways. AVCHD, which is what I use for the cast, and also MP4, which could then be streamed to my iOS device, either this or my iPhone, and then uploaded. When I was looking at the features, I thought that would be wonderful to have because I am planning on going to at least Dragon Con and any event that they have in LA or Austin. I live in Atlanta, so Dragon Con's easy. The other 2 are going to cost me some, but I figured since the cast is taking off, I should do my best to put on a great show and go places and report on the show itself. So thank you all very much. The camera and everything has been taken care of, and I put a post up on the blog telling everybody that it's been taken care of and thanking everybody. I appreciate the donations, and I do a lot of work on this show, and I will be needing other equipment like a better microphone and some other things. I'm not asking for anything else. I think that I'm going to be able to do all that on my own. But as time goes on, remember, donations are greatly appreciated, and I'm thinking of actually being able to give something back to those that donate. I have some things in the works, and I got to keep a lid on it, so I can't go any further, but you'll like what I have to offer if you donate. All right, so the second piece here. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on the show. And everybody else that watched, commented on, liked, viewed, retweeted, shared. I really appreciate it. I tried hard on that one. I was very frustrated that my camera died in it, but in the long run, I was able to put something together that worked, although looked like it was more staged than it was off the hip, which is exactly what the interview we had. There was much more interaction. I'm thinking of taking the audio only and just putting it up into a podcast just so you could see it was much more relaxed and there was a lot more interaction. But thank you all. I appreciate it. It was the first, almost, by the time this is up, it'll be the first episode I had that had 1,000 views, which is good since I've only been doing these for about 2 months. It was the most commented on and most shared episode, and because of it, I gained 70 subscribers, and a lot of those I think I could attribute to not just Ben being on, but also The Whole Truth putting it out on his show. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. I tried my hardest with this, you know. So let's move on to the news. Last week, I was starting to look at maybe a day and a half or 2 days ago saying, wow, the news is going to be really easy this week. And all of a sudden, it's not. There's too much to talk about. So I'm going to skip through some things that have already been out there for a while. Of course, we had some extra lore last week. Lore Builder 8 was released on Friday like it is every week. I think Dave Haddock is amazing. He's talking more about Ball. You all have to go out there. I say this every week. Read it. Read every piece of lore if you're going to play this game. I know a lot of you just want to get into the game and, you know, trade and shoot things up and make money, you know, make credits in it. But there's a lot more to this game. And if you know anything about Chris Roberts, it's the immersion factor about the games that brings everybody back, which is, well, I'll get to that. We'll get to the next piece. We had Wingman's Hangar 8 and meet Mark Skelton at the same time. Mark Skelton is the art director for the show. Not for the show. I wish he was the art director for my show. For the game, for Star Citizen, and I guess for Squadron 42 also. And he is one of the primary judges for the Next Great Starship contest. And we got to see a quick little interview of him there. Then there was a brief but very, 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 very informative interview with the person, you know, one of the developers about the Hangar patch. And my in-game session today is going to be on Hangar patch 9, and 2 days from now I'll be doing Hangar patch 10, which will release next week on Christmas Day, if I'm not stuck watching Doctor Who. So now we move on to the next piece, Hangar patch 9. So what did Hangar patch 9 bring you? Well, everything that's going to be in the next part of this video, I am sure. But it was mainly cleaning up old code, getting it ready for this week's patch, putting persistence into it, which took a little bit of work on their part because they had to add code that's going to come out later. So right now, when we log into the Hangar and then go back in, the placement of your guns and missiles and items are going to be exactly where they were the last time you logged out. And that wasn't happening. They added code to our side of the game, the client side, that's going to save those things. Later on, those things are going to be up in the cloud, up on the servers. So this is giving them the opportunity to now give us more things to put into the Hangar. So wait for that, and let's, you know, we'll be able to see that in just a short bit. Along with this patch came a few more updates, and you know, of course we got the code, there's some optimization. One of the things that I like the most is that I play on an iMac running Windows 8.1, and it was never giving me that 2560 by 1440 resolution, and now that's in there. And boy, does it hit my computer hard. I need to get some more RAM in that computer at some point. They added upgrades to the fish tank. I guess when you look at the fish tank now, you're going to hear the bubbles, you're going to see coral, you're going to see the little crab grotto and a little space helmet in there. Pretty cool. I was hoping to get another fish, but I guess I'm going to have to go exploring the galaxy to buy them in different places. And I guess that's all they had, except for some little tidbits that I'm going to show you in the next part of the show. So if you want to know what else is in the Hangar, just stay tuned and we will be into that with my review of Hangar patch 9. The Meet the Mark Skelton video, pretty informative. I really love the way that they shoot their interviews over in CIG, especially the LA office. Everything looks so professionally done. Very, very, very impressed with the actual quality of it. On top of that, I really liked hearing about Mark Skelton's story. Some of the questions match a couple of the questions that I asked, like how did you start? What was the first thing you remember doing? Pretty dynamic man, and I can't wait to see the contestants start competing for this, competing in this competition. All right, I'm trying to hold off on this one as best as I can because I don't know how I'm going to say this. So the first thing I need to do is get onto the web so I can say this correctly. So we were hit by a letter from the chairman, and this happened, I believe it was yesterday. The days are really, really, really starting to flow together for me. I put in hours and hours and hours of work, which is what I do this time of year. And believe me, I absolutely love my job. So it's not like I need sympathy there. But this letter came in from Chris Roberts, and it was about the dogfighting module. And essentially, the dogfighting module has been pushed back. I work for a company that doesn't announce anything before it's done. I play games from companies that don't announce anything before it's done. And I'm involved with, passionately involved with this game that's telling us everything before it's done. One thing I could tell you is that development cycles stink. They really do. Things come up in the middle of them that change everything every day. What's going on with the dogfighting module is that Chris Roberts originally thought that the dogfighting module was going to have to be released now and was going to be something that they could do away with later and absolutely just keep coding the dogfighting module that was going to be in-game at the same time. Well, that's not the case. It's the overwhelming response by us, the community, how much money we've put in, how many people have joined, that has made that a moot point. The way that Chris Roberts is looking at it now is that he is the holder of all this money and trust that we've given him. And to create something that needs to be taken apart or destroyed is just a waste of that money that we invested in his company, in this game, the trust that we invested in him. So he wants this to be done right the first time. One of the major hurdles here is that you're taking the CryEngine 3 and its way of getting people into the game, right? With the MMO back end of the actual Star Citizen game and trying to combine them. And that's going to take some time. Also, I've mentioned this before, and I know that not many of you watched it because when I look back, only 200 views on that episode. Creating a dogfighting module from scratch in a game that doesn't support such thing means having to create everything. So you've got to create the engine, the physics, the damage model, the weapons model, the actual parts that come off the ships, which we actually get to see at some point. So everything has to be created, and this isn't done overnight. And for us to even be the littlest upset with this is understood. But we need to get over it quickly because this is a game that's going to come out polished. This is a game that's going to come out beautiful, and this is a game that's going to come out working. There are going to be hurdles between now and then. And this is one of them. And this is one of the best, most well thought out option that I can think of. Why create something that needs to be destroyed and take away from the thing that needs to be created that's going to persist? And Chris, I really know that it must have been hard for you to get up there and talk about this, but I appreciate it. I think that this is something that's going to make the game better. And, I could run around my ships a little bit more, play with my buggy and hopefully that weapons test rig, and just wait out the next couple of months or a few months until the dogfighting module comes out. And when it comes out, I know it's going to be A+. And I can't wait to help you squash bugs. And that's my take on the dogfighting module. At the same time, Chris Roberts then jumped up and put himself in the fire by doing another 10 from the chairman and taking subscriber questions. Okay, we're going to stop there. This is definitely a plug for subscribers. Guys, I know it costs you $10 a month or $20 a month, but if you subscribe, you get the jump point, you get to be able to ask Chris questions, you get your name in the game. Really, it's not even about all that. You get to, take more part in the game itself and in the development. Not everybody has to do it, but there are more of you that can jump in and subscribe, I am sure. We get few benefits. The few benefits we get, like the Aegis mouse pad and a couple of other little knickknacks that will be in our version of the store in the future. are not why we do it. We do it because we love the information that Wingman's Hangar gives us and that Chris's show is going to give us when they start in LA in January. And, you know, we just have a lot of passion for this game. We want to find out, which all of a sudden justifies me asking for donations. They asked for donations to do their show, and I guess that's a justification for me asking in the beginning of at the beginning of last week for, help with my camera. So back on to that. So he did 10 from the chairman, and I'm not recapping it because I'm sure the whole truth is going to recap it next week. But Chris took a lot of hard questions. Of course, he wasn't staring the person in the face because I don't think he needs to do that. But in hearing his answers, I see a man with vision, a man that truly has that has a passion for this game, a passion for creating it, a passion for those of us that are actually entrusting him. I saw in him somebody that I believe in, and I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, smoking the peace pipe, whatever you want to say with him. I am very much, I've seen other people speak like him. I've worked for a Fortune 200 or 100 company by now that actually had someone that was a lot like him. So when we look at the dogfighting module, I was excited. I have my CH Products stick and pedals and throttle all set over there. And if that wasn't going to work, I have a Logitech 3D Extreme. And I've been looking at, and all these things are things that I've owned for, oh my God, for years. Somewhere I have a Thrustmaster Cougar. I was really into flight sims and space sims for a while and just fell out of it because really that whole genre disappeared until DCS World came out. So that's pretty much where we're at. We don't have a lot of news other than that that's out right now. There's a lot of action going on in the developers forums. I wish you would all just go out there and just take a look at what Ask a Developer is all about. This is important. You have questions. A lot of you race to put things in threads before you actually verify it or ask a developer. I would say when you find things out, just sit there, write it down, and then send it off to the developer that is in charge of that. I look forward to the next few weeks. I know that the patch comes out in 2 days. I know that we're going to have dogfighting module in a few months. And I'm going to be bringing you a couple more interviews. I have Sandy lined up for early January, and I'm hoping to get, and I hope he hears this, I'm hoping to get Eric and Rob, and I want David Haddock, and I want quite a few other people that are involved with the show. I also am putting out a request right now. If you are somebody that is taking part in creating ships for the game at this point, and you're in that fan section where you're actually creating mods, or you're thinking about creating mods, or equipment, uniforms, whatever, for the ship, I want to interview you. It could be audio or video. I just want to have 5 questions with as many people as I could get once or twice a month. Thank you very much. I really don't have much more to say, and that will be it. So we're going to move on from here. I've got a Hangar patch review for Hangar patch 9, and I got another confession of a Star Citizen addict. Before I move to that, I just want to talk about one last thing. There's another space sim out there. It's in alpha. It's called Elite Dangerous. When I was young, I played Elite like crazy. It's the first game I was ever addicted to. They have an alpha. It's 200 pounds. That's quite a bit more than $200, I'm sure. I have been asked to review that game. I am not going to be doing it. I think it is too expensive for me to do at this point. If you want me to review it, I think you're going to have to wait at least until the price of that comes down. I would never ask anybody to go out there and get me into the alpha. That's not what I'm looking for. I am going to buy the game when it comes out, I'm sure, but I am not going to pay 200 pounds. Who would ever pay that much to take part in an alpha? I mean, 200 pounds? That's got to be at least, oh, I see the error of my ways here. All right, so maybe I will be getting into that alpha at some point. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you for Christmas. Happy holidays. Hello, everyone. Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here, and I am back in the hangar. This is the deluxe hangar. We had a patch drop last week, of course. It was talked about on my episode, and also in the Wingman's hangar. This patch has brought persistence to the universe. Well, in a sort of way. Cleaned up a lot of the code, changed a couple of things inside of the hangar, and added a trophy case, and actually gave us a few alterations to the fish tank. So we're going to go and take a look at it real quick, hopefully in less than 20 minutes. So persistence needs to be talked about. That's one of the things that we haven't had at this point, and one of the reasons why they're not giving us a lot of other things that we could put in our hangars. What I mean by persistence is if we come over here and take a look at the ships, they all have standard weapons on them right now. But some people like to come over here and make some alterations to them, and we're going to alter one of them because I know there's one thing that we can do. And what we're going to do is come into here. Oh, this is also an update, by the way, folks. This is something that is different on the actual game world. You can actually use the tab as a toggle now, meaning it actually works as a toggle. You can't get out unless you hit the tab key to get out, you know, to make your cursor go away. So as soon as you hit the tab key, your cursor's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my Aurora LN, which is right here. I'm going to go over to weapons and ammo. I'm going to let it spin around for a second, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these weapons. Let it spin around, take off these weapons. What we're going to do is add these weapons. And do it on the other side. They really need to add a zoom into this, folks. Just not seeing it, but you'll get the gist of it once I'm done here. That should be it. And we should have one missile left that we could pull off. Yeah, we have that one right there. So we should have 4 missiles on board the LN. We do, and they look kind of stupid if you ask me. We're also going to take off... No, we're not going to take anything off. We're just going to hit the tab key, hit the F key, and just go into our little area over here. I'm just going to log out real quick and talk to you in the meantime. So we've logged out, and we're going to take the opportunity just to log back in again. While I'm talking, I'll try to put up some kind of image. Anyway, what persistence is doing is, in the future, it's going to be server-side. So they had to write some code that was going to look at things like the placement of missiles, the weapons that you have, and some other things that you want to keep. Placement of decorations, I'm sure, in the future. And they just are saving those locations and saving those configurations. So every time you log in, it looks at that file, and voila, you have exactly what you logged out with. In the future, that code is going to be moved up to the server, so you won't be able to alter the code and cheat in the game. So currently, this is just a way that we can start doing some extra things inside of our hangar. What kind of things? I'm not sure yet. Maybe we are going to get a few decorations. Maybe we're going to get a little bit more things to place and move around our hangar. I'd love to put my workbench in a different area, but I can't. So who knows? In the future, we're going to have some kind of interface to move things around, and they're going to stay that way. So I should have changed out the LX, but that was short-sighted of me. You know what? Let's go get in our trusty buggy over here. I am playing 1920 by 1080 only because it is easier to stream and be in game and record at the same time. I'm actually trying to stream this on my Twitch channel at the same time as recording it, but I think that's not going to happen. Twitch is being very twitchy lately. So we're just going to go down here to my LN, and you'll see we logged out. Up, there is no persistence client side. So I'm going to have to mark this down as a bug. You saw what I did. I put those missiles on there, and they are supposed to stay. The ammunition's supposed to stay, but it did not. In retrospect, I did make some changes to the 315p on my own in a different point, and those changes were persistent. So I guess ammunition is not, and that is something that I probably failed to look at in the patch notes. I'll have to look and see if that is the case. Oh boy, little Chucky had an accident. Alright, so we're just going to take a look at a couple of things. Now, obviously they didn't spend a lot of time in changing any kind of models because they have PBR coming hopefully in the next patch with the 5 ships that are now in the hangar. The 5 ships are the Aurora, the Avenger, the Hornet, the Constellation, and the Origin Jumpworks 300, right? Those should be the ones that are in the hangar. The ones that are not in the hangar right now are going to be my hangar, I should say, the Freelancer and the Cutlass. Those should have PBR attached also. And we're looking at just a couple of things. We're going to go over here and look at the Hornet. Those huge ass Mantis Gatling guns are now not on the ship anymore. You now have the correct armament for this ship, and that would be the twin CF-117 Badger laser repeaters, and they're on top. Also, you can see some updates like in my actual review, there was no mount for this gun. It just kind of hovered in the nether underneath the wing, and it's there now. Wow, looks like there's another hardpoint over there. It's pretty cool. I wonder if that is a hardpoint. We still don't have the hardpoints that are in the nozzles over here, the nasals, that go up underneath this area over here. Those will probably be added in a later patch. We're going to go in. Because one of the things I think has happened is there's a little bit of a motion capture change to the way that he enters and exits the ship. It's much more aggressive and determined to get in and get up and ready to fly. Somebody had said that he's sitting higher in the cockpit. He actually is a little bit. Why can't I look around? It's kind of weird that you can't look all the way around. Well, I guess I'm not going to. Well, I am looking all the way around. I'm looking as far around as I can. Yeah, I think he's sitting more forward and up. That's pretty good. It gives you much more visibility over here. That is much better. Much better. Alright, let's get out of this. I can no longer jump up on the wings. And if we get out of here and look, I don't remember seeing that type of motion capture for the exit of the ship before. If it was there, I take it that I missed it entirely. Also, the bug that I was experiencing, and some of you all were, where you would get in the ship and the landing gear would retract, seems to be gone. I also seem to see a difference in lighting that's giving the ship just a little bit better look on these parts. I see it better on the 2560 by 1440, which is now available for people that have monitors with that resolution. I have an iMac, so it displays that resolution. And if anybody's wondering, please don't ask me how I'm playing it on a Mac. I'm actually running Windows 8.1 in Boot Camp. they are not making a Mac version at this point. I honestly don't think that a typical Mac would be able to handle this game in the end. Though I am running it on a Mac, it is by no means a typical iMac. I purchased the most expensive one, added in the i7. I didn't upgrade the RAM yet, but I did have a GTX 680 MX with 2 gigs of RAM installed when I ordered it. So this one looks fine. I think the other chip that had lighting changes was the Origin JumpWorks series, the 300 series. It looks shinier and nicer, and I tell you, it's so much different in 2560 by 1440. If anybody knows how I could capture that resolution, I'd appreciate it. But the game that I'm doing right now, the OBS I think it's called, when I capture at that resolution, it's kind of really small, and I don't know why. Alright, so here we go. We're inside. There are some lighting changes, and I have to finagle my way on the... Wow, he's still falling through the flaps. That's not good. You can see how he jumps now. He can't get up on top. Yeah, there's no more way of getting up on top of the ship. Yeah, I think they might have played with the gravity on him. That they had his gravity too low, set to the same that the buggy was set to. Anyway, there has been some lighting changes, and I guess they're getting ready for PBR on this ship. Alright. Yeah, he falls a little bit faster. So, there have just been some minor changes to it so far. I expect this to have some major changes in the visual... in the visual looks, I don't know, in the visuals. Let's stick with that one. Once the patch next week hits, that's if they are dropping PBR in it. Alright, so we've got the look at that. The next big changes are actually going to be, we're going to run by the Avenger real quick, but they're going to all be in the Constellation. And the Constellation has had some lighting updates, and some I guess some gifts to us inside, and we'll go in there and take a look at it. Alright, so this is the funny thing. I don't remember if this was the case, but I gotta go back and look at my Avenger review. But there is no struts for the landing gear to attach to. They're kind of like Wonder Woman's plane. They're just hanging out there in the nether. And let's see if we can get this guy to go underneath and take a look, and you'll see. They just are there. We gotta probably get around the front to see. There you go. You see that? Let's go into first person. There's nothing attached to them. So I'm sure this ship is just getting ready, as it was the first one shown with PBR. I'm sure they're just getting this one ready. So let's stop wasting time here, and oh god, I can't wait to get rid of that stupid stairwell. Thank god they changed that. Okay, so let's just go into the Constellation and take a look at some things that have changed there. So the Connie is still one of my favorite ships. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous ship. Alright, we're going to come up to the elevator. And one of the issues I always have with elevators is you kind of sink into it. And I wonder if I'm still going to do that when I go up. And if I'll be able to see it. No, it doesn't look like he sunk into it. So the first thing I want to do is just go up to the seat, sit in it, and take a look at the actual HUD. Nothing different here that I see. There probably are differences that I just don't realize. And we'll take a look at that against my old videos just to make sure. Alright, that's everything there. The next thing I want to do is go into this mode and just go back, and I want to find the P-52 Merlin. I heard there were a couple of changes in it. And the changes are in the cockpit. The cockpit is actually looking pretty wonderful, and I think that it might just be someone that didn't go in the cockpit before, but I don't know. Gotta take a look. Oh, we just went right through the HUD. Oh, wow. Wow. That kind of looks like a toy space fighter. Alright, so there are some differences. I love those two analog gauges. I think that's the fuel. Alright, so we have some minor differences here, possibly. I can't really remember. Alright, so P-52 Merlin had kind of a pass on its graphics, I guess. Of course, they're probably getting the Constellation ready for the actual dogfighting module, because it's one of the fights that's going to be, one of the ships that's going to be in the dogfighting module at some point. I bet you this is one of Chris's favorite ships. Alright, so let's stop playing around here. I know that there are lots of things to see in this ship that people are waiting for it to go live. One of the things I found when doing this the last time was I found the missile racks. And they were in here somewhere. They were up here, I think. And after I find them, I'm just gonna... Oh, that's the fan unit. Alright, we're not gonna go any more into this. Let's just get out of the seat and go see the other little tidbits that are here. They made changes to the actual turrets. And we're gonna go into the top turret. And I think the main change is we are not going to see it turn. Oh man, I just stink at this. There we go. And we're gonna go in. Right, he's up. Yeah, I don't see it turning at all, not with any of the keys. So I'm sure they're getting ready for something else on here. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, they're changing things. If you look on the right, it says 24.5. On the left, it says 25.2. They used to be mirrored before. So there are some minor changes. He's not holding... It doesn't look like he's holding the joysticks right either. It looks like they have the mocap off on this. They'll probably reshoot that at some point. Let's see what it looks like from outside. Oh wow, this ship is really beat up. I think I want to complain to RSI that they sold me a used ship. Look at all those scratches and stuff. Oh god. Just gorgeous. Love it. Scratchers or not. Alright, so we're going to get out of the turret. There were some minor changes there. And I think the other two changes are quite significant. No, actually, they're just... You'll see. They're just usability changes. And we are going to go over here. And we are going to hit the button. Oop. Hit the button again. And... I think the mocap here has him sit down and put his head down and go to sleep. Yeah, essentially that's it, because when you move your mouse after he's down, he doesn't go anywhere. What is up with that? I swear he hasn't been in this hangar forever and the first thing he wants to do is go to sleep. So if that's what he wants to do, let's go to sleep. That is one of the other changes. The items over here are live. There used to be one of those over here somewhere. It's no longer here. Maybe it was over here. Oh, there it is. No, this one does nothing either. 4800, 4750, 497, 4.97. Okay, so I just wanted to check something. So we opened up these. Every one of these works, and at this point I've put myself in every bunk, but not in this video. So we can go in the bunks and we can pretty much lie down. So now we can sleep in the Aurora and we could sleep in the Constellation. So only if you have an RSI ship do you get to lie down in your bunk at this point. Alright, we're in it And we're out. Yes, I know the Hornet doesn't have one, nor does the Avenger. And I remember the Freelancer having them, but I do not have a Freelancer. That is going to be a Christmas present to myself at some point in the future. Alright, here we go. And there's nothing different here. Same old, same old. Someone told me they did get stuck in here though, so I probably shouldn't have done that. No, I'm out. So the Constellation didn't have a hell of a lot of changes. It was just, you know, a couple updates. We're out. We have a lot more to do, a lot more pieces and places. Alright, so we've had those minor changes. We still have one but not two videos playing. Next thing we're going to do is go up there and we're going to see some optimizations. I could tell you this, there is a nice smoothness to everything, but there is much more motion blur. And I suffer from some kind of vertigo when I play some of the games. And to be honest, this makes me a little nauseous. I hope, well, I know that there's going to be graphic preferences for almost everything. The first thing I'll be doing is turning off all that blur. I know some people like it, but to me it just makes my head hurt. Sorry to whine. Okay, so we're out of here, and this is where the trophy case is. Yeah, I missed everything. I started after Gamescom. I actually started on the 27th or 28th of August. So I've got nothing in there except for the model of the Vandu's, or is it the Sheehan Scout? The Sheehan Scout that Chris said everybody would get at some point after the ship actually has a model, an in-game model. So we should be getting that in there. But I'll have the Zeus in there sooner or later too. Alright, so they definitely, the outfit changer definitely has had an overhaul, in that now when you hit the F key, it's instantaneous. That's pretty cool if you ask me, because, you know, being the lovely lady I am now, I like to change clothes a lot, so I don't want to be taking all day doing it. Can't wait for the female models to be in the game. Alright, this is where my cot has moved to for now. And this is my new fish tank. Alright, so if you were in the game when these were handed out, that's your fish tank. That's your golden Midas fish. I do not know what the other fish is called. You notice when I got forward, there is now bubbling noise. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear it. Okay, done. There's been some additions of a helmet. Is that Master Chief's helmet? Nah, it can't be. A crab grotto cave and lots of coral. So pretty cool. I think it's also a much bigger fish tank. I think they did this for me, so when I do my videos, I could stand in front of a bigger fish tank. What do you think? It's possible, right? Alright, so that is everything that's changed in the hangar to date. So, most of the coding was behind the scenes. It enabled persistence. The rest of the items that were changed were just little knickknacks. There was a lot of dumped items, and then we got upgrades to the trophy case. We got upgrades to the fish tank. And one thing to mention about the trophy case is that you also are going to have an opportunity to display your golden tickets in there, or your plaques. So I don't know if I mentioned that before. You also had updates to this where every weapon is now described correctly, and that's why I was logging into here. I was going to go and drag in my 315p and just show you that there's the power plant. As I look, there's my power plant. You get a full description. It's my ball thruster. No. You get a full description of Grey Cat's little tractor beam over there. And here's the Omniski 4 laser cannons, and it gives you an accurate depiction of the power behind these. Not bad, huh? So I'm pretty happy about this. I can't wait to fire off some of these cannons to know what they actually do. So let's go back to the workbench for a second and just bid everyone adieu. And thank you very much for watching Nikki's Hangar overview, Hangar Patch 9. I hope to have you have a more comprehensive overview for you next week for whatever Hangar Patch 10 brings us. I could only imagine what kind of things that they're going to give us for Christmas. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for another confession of a Star Citizen addict. My gosh, but this is an incredibly long thread. Started with the basic Aurora package, and at the time I thought that would be it. I had what I needed to get started in Star Citizen, and I would not be needing anything else. I found that I hated the dingy discount hangar and really loved the look of the Avenger, so I decided to get the package as well, and this time I was absolutely certain that would be all I needed. A few days later, I was thinking I needed a cargo ship and hated the fact that if I bought the Connie, it would upgrade me to the deluxe hangar because it looked to me to be dark and dingy like the discount hangar. So I bought a Freelancer, and now my fleet was complete. About a week later, I realized I might need more fighter support than just an Avenger, so I upgraded my Aurora to the Aurora LN, which has a better weapons package and some other stuff, though at the time none of that showed in my hangar, well, until they implemented the upgrade thing on the website. So I wanted a fighter in my hangar, and I bought an Origin 325A because it really did seem to be one of the best single-seaters out there, and I really do love the ship. Then I was thinking I wanted one more ship. I don't know why, and I almost decided on the Connie this time, but instead bought a Cutlass. I hated the fact it supposedly came with a pirate paint job, skull and crossbones, so at the same time I got the "We Got Your Backs" electro skin for it. Then I bought a Grey Cat, and to be honest, that's the best thing I ever bought from my hangar because it gives me something to do when I go there, besides dream about more ships. Still, I want a Connie though, and might get one someday.